about your recording meetings, because if we're sitting here at a computer trying to edit and figuring stuff out, we just pull this up.
Yep. John gave me that tip. He was like, record them, and then they can just watch them over.
Awesome.
This QuickTime Player screen share is great. All right, so now you've got your video in and you want to put in some audio and start editing it. For this example, and we're going to put everything in audio clips, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the little girl in the story because I've got her voice on my computer. So I'm going to make a new bin to keep things organized and call it, we named her Sandra, we named the boy Brody. Doesn't matter if you guys do, you could say boy or girl. Sandra. So I'm making a little sub bin so I keep things organized. And I'm going to import that audio. When you guys are practicing this afternoon, you can use stuff like from the Mad Libs, or if you've collected any audio, please get started. Start putting stuff together in this. But you can just practice cutting stuff up this afternoon when I'm around if you want to. And I'm going to grab that audio. So I'm just going to where it is on my computer, just like you guys will. After you find your audio, make sure you copy it to the hard drive of the computer you're working on. Otherwise, you're going to have to plug in whatever it was you did. And honestly, audio just works a lot better off the native hard drive. Video can handle being on an external, but audio really struggles. So it's better to copy it to your hard drive first, then import it. Again, if you're doing that on the computers in 138, put it in your documents folder. Don't put it anywhere else. Okay, where is it? I believe it is under Scratch Track. Sandra, there we go. I'm going to put all of this in. So, this is doing some of those conversions for me because these were not recorded at the right sample rate. If it gives me trouble as I'm playing it and chunk some, then I'll take them out, convert them, and put them back in. But Premiere is a lot better at handling doing conversions than Final Cut. So I've got all of my little stuff with Sandra. Let's see. Let's get her lines and vocal noises and see what we have. So when I double-clicked on that, it opened it up in this viewer. And there's where you can see the waveform a little bit better. Let's just say big picture. Let's pretend we want this entire clip. And we're going to put it in onto that audio 2 track because audio 1 is taken. We're not adding anything there. So you can click 2 places to drag it. You can click on this little thin gray greenish area and drag it down. Or this little audio waveform, which is drag audio only. In this case, we only have audio, so it doesn't matter. There is no video option. But you could click on that waveform with your hand tool, drag it, and drop it. There are keyboard shortcuts, too, for doing the insert edits. I'm just doing the very crude way to edit and put it in. Then you can, using this selection tool, you can click on the edge, drag it over if you want it to be shorter, drag it over that way, click in the middle, drag it to the left, drag it to another track, and that's your selection tool. If you wanted to cut this in the middle, you can use your razor tool. Cut it, and you can click and move. Those are the 2 real editing tools we're going to look at. As the semester goes on, we'll look at some more refined ways to edit. This is the very basic path. When you're doing footsteps, if you found some recording you like of footsteps in grass, odds are the footsteps recorded on grass are not going to exactly match the character you're matching them with. So what you do is you cut between the footsteps and move them into place. Then you can zoom in to be able to see this better. This bar at the bottom, if you click on one side and drag it, you'll be able to see better. And the down arrow to show your waveform. I'll have to take a look and research what Jared was talking about of expanding the waveforms in CS6. Because you should be able to see, if you look up here, you've got more waveform. I will find an answer to that this week.
Final Cut Pro, there's a little button that actually shows the waveform.
Right, right. It's shown here because we're actually seeing some waveform. It's just really compressed.
Yeah, it is.
Set display style, show waveform. So we have the waveform.
It might be really, really slow.
But-
Because the waveform like goes really compressed when you have it down really low. When you bump up the volume, it might.
That's true. Go to the
Let's,
next.
we'll add our, that little yellow line I'm clicking on is changing the volume. Let's see if that doesn't make much of a difference.
The waveforms are still the same, you're just changing the volume of the.
I'm changing the volume of the clip if I change track gain, but we should still see a little bit more. There's something off with the display.
Well, there's some little blips on the second sound clip.
They're little blips, but they should be bigger. That's the thing. It's just tough to see. But you could hear it. I have no idea what's even in this. Let's play it and see what we hear. I haven't listened to this in a while. So you can see in your audio meter over here, those are pretty loud actually. And I'm just dragging the edges and it's changing view. So we have her little audio noises. I'm going to delete these out of here. I just highlighted both by clicking and dragging and I hit delete. So I want to show you guys up here too. You can set in and out points if you listen up here where you can see the waveform better and select this is what I want. So let's take a look in here. I think I'm going to add in her sound right now where we have this moment when she's drawing. You guys see her? She's drawing. They hear the brother. The mom gets up and runs. So we'll add in some little noises for her. So out of what I have for her, let's see what we've got. Okay, this is probably not what we're going to use, but I'm just going to use this for a moment to show it. I'm using the arrow keys to go back and forward to before the sound. I'm going to hit I for an in point, play it. And then O for an out point. So I have just that little giggle. So let's say she's giggling while she's drawing. This is not what I'm actually going to use, but it's there. Yeah. You don't have a little girl. All right, so we'll have her little giggle. I'm going to click on that little waveform and drag down that audio. When I play it, there she's giggling.
You should still be laughing.
Still laughing. And that is your basic cutting. Do you guys have any questions just about inserting clips and cutting them?
Try, looking it up online, just
Yeah.
try expanding it even more. Like, you pull that down just even more, even further. That might be just it. You have it like
You have it.
super-
You have to
as long
really
as you're just-
expand.
As long as you're just doing one clip.
I think.
Or one track.
Let's zoom in on it a little. I mean, we see a little bit more, but it should still be bigger. That does help, so you can expand your track some. And then I could go in here and, you know, I'm going to cut this little piece and cut it here and here as if I was cutting, you know, maybe footsteps.
And you cut it from the, what's that, the view, not the sequence, the other one? Can't do it.
Well, this is kind of your canvas of program is what they call it.
Can you cut from that one over, not that one, the other one to the left, can you cut from on top?
That's your original, so you're selecting your in and out points to put in. Once you put the clip in, you could cut. You can't use the razor tool up here, no. You could select a new, you could do a new in and out and put in that in and out. Yeah, it's very similar principles. You're not cutting in here, and we'll get into keyframes next week and how to change volume. That you can do in either one in different ways. One other thing on cutting and moving tracks, if you've got snap on, it's going to snap your items to the nearest item. If I try to move this to the middle of these two, it's not going to let me with snapping on, and that will drive you crazy if you're trying to put it between with snapping on. So I'm going to take off this little magnet, click on it, take off snap. Now I can move it anywhere I want and put it in the middle. And that's your basic cut and move. I'm gonna
That drives me crazy.
the snap.
All
All right, let me